Hey guys, this is John, and I'm playing Alvar Alonso in the 5-minute pool on ICC. This is a Grandmaster, and we are leading with e4 for a change. Just trying to mix up the repertoire a little bit. Okay, let's play knight c3. I'm probably going to follow with d4. But he plays knight f6. Okay, I can play e5 if I like, but let's go into a mainline open Sicilian and see what Mr. Alonso has in mind. Usually I play bishop g5 against this, so I'm going to stick with that. This is for you guys who want more e4 games. I'm playing this for you. Okay, so queen f3 is normal now. The theory in this line is so dense that I'm a little concerned at the moment, but it's a 5-minute game. I have experience in this line, even though it's been a while, so I'm just going to do my best. Give it the old college try. So this player, Alvar Alonso Rosell, I've definitely seen their name before. Pretty high rating, 2493. And he castles short. Interesting. I think I had a 15-minute game like this not long ago. So do I go queen h3 and try to set up threats against h7 already, or do I do something else? Let's play rook he1 first, just a sensible move. e5 could be on the agenda in the future. But one idea is queen h3 and try to go e5 and gang up on h7. I might want to eliminate the defender on f6 if I embark on this plan. We'll see. I'm flexible at the moment. Knight c5. Okay, so if queen h3, he might have e5, although then I have knight f5, which looks promising. He's also encouraging me to play e5 directly, isn't he? But if e5, take, knight d5. If I take, he has bishop takes g5 with check. So maybe I should play queen h3 if I want to do this. So yeah, let's play this move. In the 3 videos I record today, I'm going to focus on time management once again. In my most recent tournament in Texas, I was also focusing on this a little bit, and I think I've gotten better with my time management. And clearly it's tough doing this, working on your time management where you're also talking about the game, but I think I'm capable of producing quality games while talking and managing my time. It's a tall order, but I think I can do it. All right, so I'm wondering if he's going to eliminate the light square bishop. If he takes, I will take with the rook, but he just plays b5. Okay, so e5 once again comes to mind. He will then definitely take. Still, there's this issue of the loose piece on g5. Hence, I could play something like king b1, but that seems slow. I really want to play e5 directly. Maybe I can e5, take, knight takes d3, rook takes, knight d5. Do I have anything wacky like bishop h6 there? Maybe. That would be kind of cool, actually. That might just work. You know, I'm going to go for it. It's direct. I looked at a couple lines. It seems dangerous for black, so I think he's going to have to take care. If knight takes d3 again, I'm going to take with the rook, because I like the fact that the rook can swing over. Yeah, and now pawn takes, so knight d5, and I'm thinking bishop h6, as strange as that looks. Because again, knight takes d5, he has bishop takes g5 check. I don't want to play like that. But bishop h6 or even just rook g3 right now. Although rook g3 kind of leaves me trying to defend g5 and c3. All right, let's give this a shot. So if pawn takes, I'm going to take with my queen, whereupon I'll be threatening rook g3 with checkmate to come. So if pawn takes h6, queen takes h6, king h8 on the other hand, then I have rook h3 and I'm going to win on h7. He might be forced to do something radical with like a f5 type move soon. Maybe he'll want to play knight takes c3 first, but always I can take with the rook and get a tempo on his queen. And then maybe swing over to g3. It's possible I'll wind up winning the exchange should black play g6 eventually and I can take on f8. I like the fact that he's thinking right now. Oh yeah, and yes, I did get a haircut recently. Thank you for noticing. Yeah, I think my position is looking good if he doesn't have a direct response to this bishop h6 move. He's going to have to find some sophisticated defense, and that's not simple with your clock running and white throwing all his pieces at you on the king side. One thing I should keep in mind is that if I play knight takes d5 and he responds with e takes d5, then my queen would be under attack. Yeah, so this is what he's going to do. He's going to give up the exchange. I think I should just nab it right away. Just looking quickly to see if there's anything better. He's going to have some compensation on the dark squares. There's no doubt about that. But I'm going to get knight takes d5 in, and then pawn takes, and then probably just queen f3. Ah, knight f4 I missed. That move I did not see. It's a nice one. Annoying. Definitely annoying. All right, so if queen f3 he takes, if I take with a pawn, I'm hitting a8, but he has bishop b7, another in-between move. If queen h6 he takes and then takes on f8. I think we're going to have to do a queen takes d3 capture, because I'm not liking the alternatives. Yeah, knight takes, pawn takes, bishop b7 seems to solve everything for him. Yeah, I think I got to do this. So what's the material situation? It's equal after all is said and done, but I have this weak e5 pawn. I want to get my knight into f6. That would be tremendous if I could. But knight e4, he can play queen takes e5, I think. So maybe queen g3 first, but the bishop is coming to g7. And this bishop is coming to b7. I don't want to get eaten alive by his bishop pair. That's my concern right now. I might want to just pitch the e5 pawn. You know what? I'm going to do that. I'm going to let him take and then probably play rook f1 when he does take. Actually, maybe queen f3 is playable, because knight f6 is coming pretty fast. Could he go queen f3, king g7? Could he possibly do that? But then I have rook f1. Okay. Don't think I'm miscalculating this, but we'll find out. So yeah, I'm threatening knight f6 check, which would be a discovered attack on the queen, and I'm also threatening queen takes a8 if I get knight f6 check in. And if f5, I'm going knight f6 anyways, because then he'll have to take. I take a8. My knight on d4 is hanging at the end, but so is his bishop on c8. We're both getting low on time. Check. This is going to be a bullet game pretty soon. King d1 or king b1? Well, if I go to d1, he takes with check, so I think I got to do this. Okay, now I was thinking rook f1. He's going to go f5. But still, I think I have to go for this. Yeah, let's do it. So I'm attacking f7 now. He might play rook a7. But rook a7 runs into knight c6, forking. That is quite tricky. So f5 may be forced. And then I'm going to move my knight away somewhere. I don't know exactly what the best square is, but like c3 seems logical. Yeah, let's do that. It's also like knight c5. Maybe knight c5 is even better. Knight c5 is kind of nifty too. Okay, I'm going to go to c5. It's hard to calculate. So if he takes here, I take a8. But he takes and he defends the bishop. That was a miscalculation. Yeah, I should have gone to c3, I think. I was thinking if he takes c5 first, that's good, because I take a8. But yeah, this was not calculated well by me. Yeah, that's annoying. Rook d1 first, maybe? Okay, let's try rook d1. Less than 30 seconds for both of us. Okay, let's come here. He's going to try to swap queens. Queen e5 or something. But I can do this at the end. And I'm getting at his bishop.
Time.
He's just going to push his pawns like crazy on that wing. I think I can stop all of them, actually. I can. Let's get our pawns going over here. Actually, I'm just going to take here just to be safe. We're going to win this game, remarkably, despite some of the mistakes I made at the end. Okay, so we get the victory. Yeah, that was a clear miscalculation when I played knight c5. I only considered one permutation of the move order, which was queen takes c5, queen takes a8, queen takes d4, queen takes c8, whereupon I'm up in exchange. He does have a pawn for it. But if he just inverts the moves as he did in the game, queen takes d4, now if I take on a8, then he takes c5 and he defends the bishop, as you saw. So I should have moved the knight somewhere else, like just knight c3 I think would have been good. What a tricky game. Lots of tactics going on there. So let's go back and take a look. So this is the open Sicilian. Sometimes knight c3 is played on move 3 just as a way to keep white's position flexible. Of course, I can play d4 on the next move, which takes the game into open Sicilian waters as I did. But here, I played around with e5 before. This is also possible, just advancing and going for this setup. I don't think white has an advantage here, but this is one way of playing. But regardless, we go into the mainline open Sicilian, and black plays the Najdorf variation. I played bishop g5. As I said, I usually prefer this move in my Najdorf experience, but there are many moves white can play here on move 6. Every logical move, and even some illogical moves, have been tried here for white. To give you an example of perhaps a illogical move, rook g1, I know, is a move that has been played before. Maybe I shouldn't say illogical, because that does prepare g4, but that shows you the off-the-wall stuff that some players have tried to use against the Najdorf variation, which is like the Cadillac of chess openings. This has a very strong reputation for black. So bishop g5, black played e6. In the Najdorf, often there's a choice for black whether to put the pawn on e6 or e5. But against bishop g5, you almost always see black putting the pawn on e6 if they do put a pawn on some square other than e7. Although I think there's a line or two where e5 is played, but usually e6 is preferred because if e5 is played here, black gives up control of the d5 square. And I think even just bishop takes f6, queen takes f6, knight d5 is already pretty nice for white. So e6 keeps the pony off of d5 for now. So f4, bishop e7, queen f3, this is all normal. I could try to talk about these moves further, but this is not a opening discussion video necessarily, although I try to mix in the theory. So here, g4 is another move for white, but bishop d3, perfectly playable. Usually I preferred this move because it connects the rooks. I like the coherency of white's setup after this bishop d3, rook he1 plan. Now, castle's kingside is provocative, definitely, because more often than not, black prefers to keep their king in the center, and sometimes even goes queenside. And as I mentioned, I had a 15-minute game where black did this, and I recall either playing or strongly considering queen h3 and e5 against this, because naturally we want to shift our focus from the center to the black king side and try to attack the king where it has now been committed. So even though rook he1 is a centrally oriented move, it's connected with the plan of playing e5 and opening the light square bishop, so I think it's okay. I'm going to add the engine right about here. So yeah, instead of castling short, I've much more often seen b5, which is the main move, whereupon black tries to play bishop b7. So castle short, rook he1, knight c5. This seems like a good idea for black because I think they have to be ready to eliminate that light square bishop should e5 be played, and I think they're going to be thanking themselves for getting rid of that guy if it's bearing down on h7. So yeah, here I played queen h3. Queen g3 is a suggestion of the computer. e5 directly was also flicking across the screen. But if e5 directly, I didn't like the fact that after this trade and then knight d5, I always have to worry about my loose bishop. And I don't think bishop h6 is working here. Yeah, this is too early. So I can't ever play knight takes d5 because he just takes here check, and then I have to play knight e3 to try to save my piece. This is not what white wants. So first I played queen h3, and he went b5. And I forged ahead with e5. This looks like the principled move to me. I've been gearing up for the e5 advance, and even if black can capture my bishop on d3, it still seems like the most direct way forward.
Check.
And that capture on d3 does allow my rook to swing into action along the third rank, so I happen to like this. You can see the eval is nothing crazy so far, still pointing in white's favor, but nothing substantial. Knight d5. All right. Hey, I'm playing like an engine today. That's nice every once in a while. So yeah, bishop h6. This just seemed like the right attacking idea because, again, my bishop is loose. I need to do something with that undefended bishop on g5. And I wasn't happy with just trading because he gets to take with the knight, and maybe here I have some attacking chances, but black could always like plunk this knight on g6 if they needed to try to block my aspirations down the g-file. So bishop h6 just seemed like the move. It sprung to mind, and my main point is that if takes, I can take here, and the threat is rook g3 check, king h8, queen g7 mate. And black playing king to h8 does not help because rook h3, and now there's a checkmate on h7 that black cannot avoid unless they want to play like this and give all the material back, and even here white's crushing. One line I didn't think about, though, is what the engine was just recommending here. Knight f4, but I guess I can just take the knight. The idea of knight f4 would be that if I check, then the knight would come back to g6. Although even here, white has good chances, but yeah, probably simplest is just queen takes f4. And white has an extra pawn, and my attack is still continuing. Black's king has been kind of stripped bare here. No g-pawn in front of it. So bishop h6 looks strong. Maybe for that reason, black should prefer knight e8, as the engine was saying. The knight e8 retreat, which guards the g7 pawn a bit better. Although I think I still like white, even with the isolated pawn. It looks like white has reasonable attacking chances. The knight on e8 also makes kind of a strange impression. It's purely defensive on that square. And blocks the rook as well. So bishop h6. Yeah, and black played g6. And now I think I botched the move order a little bit because I didn't see knight f4 coming. Turns out this is still looking good for white, but I wish I would have seen that move. I just snapped on f8 because I was happy that I was winning an exchange, or at least I thought. But if I thought about it again, I might have looked deeper at knight takes d5. Now, after knight takes d5, they can take, and remember that the queen is under attack, but moves like queen f3 or even e6 look promising here. Yeah, e6. This looks like the way forward. And now the rook is still under attack. I've addressed the attack on my own queen, and also I'm trying to break through in the center, backed up by this rook on e1, the knight on d4. So f takes e6, and now bishop takes f8. So now I can harvest the material. What if e5? Attacking the queen, I can play knight e6. And it still looks slightly loose for white, but I am up a rook right now, so the onus is on black to get that material back. So that's why you see the +5 evaluation. So that was an oversight, not seeing knight f4. So after knight f4, bishop takes e7. Wow. Giving up the queen on h3. So how would that work? So if bishop takes e7, knight takes h3, why is the engine so enthusiastic about white's position? What would I do there? If I take the knight, he takes on e7. Maybe I have knight c6 then, followed by rook d8 check, but it doesn't look like enough. So bishop takes e7, knight takes h3. What am I up to? Something like bishop f6, keep the bishop? Probably bishop d6, actually. Bishop d6 hitting the queen. And then wherever the queen moves, then I can take on h3. And if you're following that line, the material balance would be what? I have 2 minor pieces plus a rook against the queen. Yeah, I have 3 minor pieces plus 2 rooks left, and black has their queen plus bishop plus rook. So that's a lot of material for the queen. I'm betting that's the line. So bishop takes e7, knight takes h3, bishop d6, hitting the queen. And after the queen moves somewhere, taking on h3, either with the rook or the pawn. And yeah, that's a lot of stuff for the queen. So let's take a look. Bishop takes e7, knight takes h3. Yep, bishop d6. Yeah, queen flees to some square. And now we take on h3. And the engine gives a significant advantage to white. Yeah, and in terms of material, white is up 2 points when all is said and done. It crossed my mind that I might be able to give the queen somehow, but I didn't see that line in any detail. So I just moved the queen. I played queen f3,
Check.
and black, unfortunately for me, gets to take on d3 with check now. And I took with the queen. I didn't want to take with a pawn because I didn't like the fact that black's queen would be pinning my knight on c3, and I'd have to worry about b4 ideas. This does keep my queen attacking a8, but remember that they always have this in-between move, bishop b7, hitting the queen before regaining the bishop. I mean, maybe I could do something similar here. Take, bishop takes f3, bishop d6, queen here, but this isn't as good. It doesn't look to me. Knight takes f3, so saving the knight. Rook c8. And now, yeah, white's not ahead in material anymore. It's 3 minor pieces versus the queen. Interesting imbalance, but the engine prefers black. Maybe it likes black's coordination. This also seems really complicated. Probably in a blitz game, I'd actually rather be white here with the minor pieces, but safe to say this is not nearly as good as that other queen sacrifice that we just saw, or giving away the queen for lots of material. So after knight takes d3, I took with the queen, and he took on f8. So I was expressing some skepticism about my chances from here during the game, because even though it's equal material, black has survived this initial wave of the attack, and I have weaknesses, especially that pawn on e5. Black's structure is sounder than ours. He has only 2 pawn islands, whereas we have 3. And the 2 bishops battling against the knights is also going to make my life miserable, I think, because these knights are not in tremendous attacking positions, I would say. You can see that I tried to get this one going into f6, but the long-term factors point in black's favor, that bishop pair plus the attack on e5, that weak pawn. So because of that, I should try for something in the short term here. And coincidentally, we were getting a little short of time here, which I think played to my advantage because I was trying to mix the position up a little bit. So I don't want to do something slow right now as white. That would allow black to complete their development, and probably the bishops are going to take over. So knight e4, I knew this would give away the e5 pawn, but I thought this queen f3 move would pose black problems because knight f6 is on the agenda. So like if he takes here, knight f6 check, and if the king goes somewhere, we can take, at least I thought. Yeah, and if he takes, I thought this bishop being loose at the end would be good. Interestingly, the computer just says this is a draw. Queen takes g2 at the end. Yeah, black does have a lot of pawns. A lot of pawns for the piece, or for the exchange.
Check.
But instead, he checked on h6.
Check.
Which looks good. Engine approved. King b1. Note that if I go to d1, he takes here with check, so I discarded that move. So king b1. Still knight f6 check is threatened. And he played king f6, which seems to be a blunder. So bishop e7, on the other hand, takes care of business. That must be because after knight f6 check, black can just move the king. And even though I win the queen, my queen is under attack. So bishop takes f3. And yes, I can take the bishop, but my knight on f6 falls at the end. Clear advantage for black in this endgame. He's up a pawn. That's really tricky. Yeah, there's a lot of like attack and counterattack lines going on here, and that's almost impossible to see all the way through for us with 1 minute on our clocks. But that's cool that black can play the cold-blooded move bishop b7 and just ignore the threat of knight f6 because they have this counterattack. King g7. Yeah, and note that I can't take on b7 here because I get mated on e1. So bishop b7 would have been a nice find for black. But instead he played king g7 directly, so kind of a move order issue. This knight is still pinned, but I can play knight c6 here, apparently, which will drive the queen away from defending f6. But what if queen f5? Am I going queen c3 check?
Check.
Looks like it. Or queen f4, probably same thing. Yeah, queen c3 check. And now we're making inroads into black's position. Yeah, if the king moves somewhere, knight f6 check is coming. f6 doesn't look too appetizing. g3, trying to force the queen away from guarding this pawn. Queen f5. queen b4. Okay, and the queen is wiggling its way into black's camp. And also this rook is restricted. Note that my knight on c6 stops the rook from coming here or here. And the bishop can't be developed either because I'm ready to come in queen e7 check. Yeah, this is a sharp position. And by sharp position, I mean like the result of the game could turn on any given move, basically. So, yeah, both sides have to be extremely careful right here. My eyes are watering because it's been a while since I've recorded videos. Like, I haven't recorded in about a week. And when I haven't recorded for a while, my voice, like, is not as strong as it usually is. You know that feeling when your voice gets, like, really hoarse and you start, like, struggling to speak? That's what I'm experiencing right now. So king b1, king g7, and I played rook f1. But yeah, that knight c6 move would have been nifty. And the knight just like dominates, and black has issues defending specifically the f6 square. Rook f1, he found the best move, f5. So many tricks here, because yeah, if rook a7 trying to defend f7, he runs into knight c6 again with the fork. So f5, and I played knight c5, which I was later lamenting. So I think knight almost anywhere else is better. Like knight c3 I was commenting on. Knight d6 I thought about. Knight d6 is kind of cool looking too. Yeah, maybe the benefit of knight d6 is that it stops black from playing queen b8. Whereas knight c3, black can play queen b8 and thereby defend the rook. Okay, so this could be the best way of all. Yeah, I'm still hitting the rook. Still rook a7 or rook b8 looks bad, although what if rook b8? Because knight c6, queen takes d6. Queen c3, again this queen c3 move. Wow. Threatening to come into c7 with check. Also threatening some nasty stuff with like knight takes f5 even, or knight takes e6 maybe, with queen takes e5 coming. Yeah, that's a tough find. So knight d6 looks good, but yeah, I went here and just a move order mistake. Took the rook on a8, and for all intents and purposes, I should be losing, but in the time scramble, I managed to win somehow. Yeah, he offered a queen trade, but this was the problem. Rook d8 at the end. And if he comes here, I get this check-in, forking the king and the bishop. And I don't know what's going on now, because he took on h2, and this is pretty intimidating. He has a 4 versus 1 on the king side. I have a 3 versus 2 on the queen side. It's just a crapshoot at this point with this amount of time on the clocks. Like 20 seconds each. I had a little bit more time, though, so... And also, he went kamikaze with his pawns, which didn't work out. I think a move like h3 is premature. I think he's basically hoping that I'm pre-moving, or maybe he just miscounted and thought that his f-pawn was going to get the touchdown, but my king is in the box. I can come stop it. Yeah, and I succeeded in winning. Okay, so eventful game. Summing it up, I'm happy with the way I played the opening, and I'm happy to have found bishop h6, but my play thereafter was not accurate, like especially missing knight f4. I should have seen knight f4 coming, an in-between move. So knight takes d5 would have been much stronger. Knight takes d5, e takes d5, e6, and everything appears to be working for white. Also, I wish I would have seen that line right here after knight f4 with bishop takes e7, knight takes h3, bishop d6, although that's trickier. So, hope you guys enjoyed the extended analysis on this one, and I'll be back again soon with another video. Talk to you guys later. Bye.